does, in fact, is give a voice to usually voiceless people. And I think what you'll see in the exhibition today are those... I'm Professor Jerry Levy, and I'm the Director of the Bamford Centre for Mental Health and Wellbeing at Ulster University. Groovy. And I'm currently leading on the Choice Project, which is funded by the Arts and Humanities Research Council. And this is a huge investment developing community coalitions to tackle health inequalities for disadvantaged populations. We're dealing with a population of people with severe mental illness. And they're probably some of the most socially excluded people on our planet today. But they also endure a lot of physical health problems. The mortality rates in this population are 2 to 3 times higher than the general population. And in fact, they die between 15 and 25 years younger than the general population. Who's dropped out of the program too. What we're trying to do at the moment is build this community coalition around social assets. They can be anything from leisure and arts or sporting facilities, all the things that you and I take for granted. But actually for this group, they're pretty much not getting any access to them whatsoever. And so we're trying to change that.
They are. No, do you have any favorites?
What route travel? Oh, is that the Abbey?
Part of the things we're doing in the project is community-based participatory research. So we're working with different experts by experience and trying to get their voices heard, really. So today is Photo Voice workshop here in Newton Arts. The Photo Voice is a methodology that used to amplify really voices of vulnerable people who are not necessarily heard by stakeholders or by policymakers. And Photo Voice uses photos and narratives that people develop over a series of weeks. They can represent their daily lives and also show their daily struggles.
That was that
hard. Or something that you weren't expecting, or something, I don't know, that they give you.
Photographs allow you an entry, a portal into how they think and feel. We've had several dozen of Photo Voice participants come in, take photographs, and over a course of 6 weeks talk about the photographs and again what's important to their lives.
My name is Michelle Hyrath and I work for Inspire. So Inspire is a service that supports people with mental health, addiction and intellectual disability and autism. I have been part of the project team for the Choice Project, supporting the experts by experience. So capturing that information and feedback from people who have the lived experience in a number of different ways. So I was involved with the Photo Voice project, finding participants for that and supporting those participants. And then I also supported 2 people who use our services to be experts by experience on the community advisory panel for the project as well.
The benefit of it for myself is just to come and meet other people, to maybe make friendships as well. When I didn't have it, I can sort of say I was very low, depressed, and I can say it if it's okay to say, but I don't mind. I was, very suicidal-ish, things like that. It's made me feel, as you can see me smiling, coming here, it's made me feel that much more confident, getting to do things where you wouldn't have had the chance to maybe do with, on yourself or have the opportunities to. But since coming here, I've done so much. It makes me feel happy, and it sort of sends that nicety through you, the energy and all that sort of thing, which is nice. And I'm just happy that I've come here. Really happy that I'm here, really.
The only plant I know is a hydrangea, but that's not.
That is not a hydrangea.
That's the only one that I know. Well, it's been covered over because of fish. Yeah. That's the woodshed, and then you've got a little bit of a walkway that goes right round to the back.
I've never seen
Yeah.
that, so let's
Okay.
do both.
You want to see the back first or the woodshed?
Let's go over the wall. I've never come back there.
Okay. Yes, I don't.
Photo Voice is one of the sets of tools that we've been using for this project. That's in addition to workshops with other stakeholders, so people like from the Public Health Agency, the voluntary sector organisations, with psychiatrists, with people, say, who run the National Trust, with sports agencies, Sports NI, people from the Department for Communities. All of them, in fact, without knowing it, actually have their hands on these assets, as we call them, the leisure facilities, the sports facilities, arts, museums, etc. The kind of things, again, that we take for granted, but very often most people with mental health problems will not actually ever have encountered, will be too embarrassed or shy or feel that it's not for them. And so they will need a lot of support engaging with these community assets.
That's how fast things are going.
Spending time in green spaces can improve your health and well-being, but so can art and exposure to art, visiting galleries, connecting with other people in those galleries. Those are really, really beneficial things for all of us. And why shouldn't we all participate in it, including people with severe mental illness who could benefit hugely?
Maybe they will know, like the people in the shelter, maybe they have an understanding when they're, with the animals or to come.
My name is Pamela Whitaker, and I'm a lecturer in art psychotherapy at the Belfast School of Art. And one of the methods I've developed with my students and colleagues at the Belfast School of Art is the idea of the walking studio. And the walking studio aligns really well with Photo Voice because we have our camera in hand and we walk along a route of travel that takes in architecture, takes in history, takes in the natural environment, and takes in galleries and cultural organisation, cultural events and happenings along the way. So I think there's something about pooling together the best practice and learning from that.
Good point. And there are plenty of people who will rush out to say that they experience depression or anxiety. No one's rushing out to say, I've got schizophrenia or bipolar disorder.
Normal human beings that just need that bit of extra help and support, and that's all we need. We just need to be understood and not the complete opposite.
Not dismissed.
My name's Joanne, and I'm here today to tell part of my story of why I did Photo Voice. I have two diagnoses. I suffered depression from I was 16 and anxiety, and that's been like that for 30 years. So this is what you see is what you get with me. And then I was only diagnosed with borderline personality disorder 2 years ago.
You cannot underestimate self-stigma, as was up there, as part of that, and what it takes for people. Joanne's somebody who uses our services. She had actually reached out to us a while ago to say that she was interested in getting involved in new experiences and sharing her story. So whenever the project started, Joanne was one of the people that we thought might be really interested in this. So people who would live independently, Joanne being an example of that, so they would just become themselves, and for that it was a matter of making sure we were there at the front door literally to be like, it's okay, we're here, let's go in together, explaining what was waiting for her whenever she went in the room.
But I had the support of Michelle to keep me there.
It was really important because these are people that will give you that insight that you're really looking for. People who are living with these long-term severe and enduring conditions that we really wanted to get as part of Photo Voice.
the voter voice. I loved it, absolutely loved it, because that let me be myself and just be part of something, be normal, and I was listened to and no judgment, and if something was wrong, if I panicked or anything, they just helped me calm down, and it's helped me move forward to do what I want to do. I'm even more passionate about what I want to do now than I was this time 5 years ago.
I've been involved with the Choice Project in its infancy, in the very beginning, whenever funding was granted. And since then we've had a very profound narrative just in terms of mental health and well-being of people in Northern Ireland. Diagnosed with mental illness in 2006. At that point the symptoms weren't as bad. I then moved to the European continent for a year, and after that it was sort of the descent into hell of alcohol and illicit substances. And then when I came back to Northern Ireland, the medical practitioners saw that there was something wrong, and then I was then sectioned and placed in a mental health facility here in Northern Ireland. I graduated from the University of Oxford in England with a degree in modern languages, and then subsequently, after discharge from hospital in Northern Ireland, did a master's degree at Queen's University. So I've always been interested in the visual arts, literature, creative writing, etc. There's very few people sort of my background in the mental health system. So there's very few people who would have in their toolkit, you know, a successful education or an academic career. What's good for me is that I can offer that communication with people that allows me to interpret, say, for example, symptoms, or how you can actually, improve or ameliorate one person's life or existence in that sense.
We're kind of reaching the end of this phase of the project, and you've all been, fully involved throughout our experience here. So we know that people with lived experience of mental illness do not often get their voices heard. And in fact, for centuries, they've been invalidated one way or another. We call it stigma, but in many ways, it's discrimination. So I think, we should, again, just continue with choice and work towards pushing this issue further and further. All right, good. Thank you very much.
We are here today to launch the Photo Voice exhibition, and we are very excited to have this beautiful building of Tyrrell Avenue to show the work of all of the participants that worked with us and shared so many things from their lives.
I think the main one on there is a picture of a road that's sort of just a normal main road. It dips and it goes, into corners, and it just reminded me of thinking it's like my journey, which was, it's a road obviously, and it has so many dips and turns like a roller coaster. You can come off of it, which you can in a vehicle if you think, so you can come off of it, but you can get back on it and that sort of thing. So just say it's a life's journey for me, and what I went through.
When somebody comes in off the street, I hope that they see that we have got abilities to show how we're feeling through our photographs, and that we leave an impression that they can take home with them, or go and say to somebody that to come and see the exhibition itself, that we've put the work into it. It's our story being told in photographs our way, and not what anybody else wants to put into it.
Just to bear in mind that Photo Voice is only one aspect of understanding what's happening in society, in the services, with our experts by experience. Really, we're trying to get a better understanding of how we can change their lives and the quality of their life for the better. How do we deal with stigma? How do we deal with the social exclusion that they experience? So we have to find ways of changing the environment, changing how those assets respond to people with mental illness, but also how we can change and encourage people with mental illness to once more begin to connect with their societies, with their communities, with people, and begin to take up these things like the cinemas and leisure centres and sports. Things that probably they used to do some years ago, but because of the illness and because of society's attitude, that has stopped.
I think that society is slowly beginning to understand the importance of offering the olive branch to people who have suffered from mental health difficulties, and obviously the visual arts and particularly photography, which is something that anyone can do, can contribute to that augmentation of understanding and that decimation of stigma, for instance.
I absolutely am positive that we are breaking down stigma, where anyone you meet now potentially would be relatively happy for you to know if they've had issues with anxiety or depression, and it's definitely more talked about. But it's unlikely that they'd be happy to sit down and within 5 minutes tell you they have schizophrenia. They may tell you that they have diabetes. So why is there a difference? And that's where we want to get to. That's where we're working towards. But I am positive that we are a long way from where we were, and we can make that happen.
Just coming here today has sort of made it a bit more realistic. Gets you out about, gets me out and about, because I wouldn't normally come into places without other people with me.
I know what I want to do now, and that's just tell my story and try to help people from teenagers upwards or young kids to say that there is hope, there is stuff out there for anybody to access. It's just getting that help whenever they need to before they start going under.